CNBC TV18, celebrating 16 years of business leadership.
The Reserve Bank had set up a committee to work out a 5-year action plan to spread the reach of financial services to the unbanked population. That was back in July. The report of the 14-member panel, headed by the RBI Executive Director Deepak Mohanty, is now in public domain. Ritu Singh, who's had a busy day scanning the report, now joins us. Ritu, voluminous report. What are the key highlights?
Well, the RBI has brought out an extensive report on the medium-term path for financial inclusion, and the key recommendations include for banks to look beyond the traditional business models and go for mobile technology to reach the last-mile customer. For women especially, it recommends that banks must make special efforts to step up account opening for them, and the government may consider a deposit scheme for the girl child, Sukanya Suraksha as it terms it, as a welfare measure. In fact, the panel has also suggested phasing out the agricultural interest subvention scheme, which it says has distorted the agricultural credit system in the country, and plowing that subsidy amount into a technology-aided universal insurance scheme for the marginal and small farmers across all crops, but with a ceiling of 2 lakh at a nominal premium to end the agrarian crisis. The report also stresses on the use of a unique biometric identifier like the Aadhaar card, which should be linked to each deposit account, and all of this information should be shared with the credit information company to improve the access of the financial system. Of course, to increase credit supply to the agri sector, which is most affected, digitization of land records will be the way forward. The report says that it should be backed by credit eligibility certificates to ensure that the credit only flows to the actual cultivators. Now, of course, there's also a scheme of Gold Kisan credit card with a higher flexibility for borrowers with prompt repayment records that is also recommended in this list, as is a credit guarantee in niche areas. In fact, specialized interest-free windows, ATMs in rural and semi-urban centers, strengthening of the financial literacy. These are also some of the recommendations that form a part of this extensive list.
All right, Ritu, thank you for those details. Now, after months of preparations, the launch of Reliance's 4G services under Reliance Jio is close to the finish line. Starting today, 1.2 lakh employees of Reliance Jio and their families can avail the service, and the rest of India will not have to wait much longer.
India and Indians cannot afford to be left behind in this new world.
Reliance Infocom, the telecom arm of Reliance Industries, is ready to ensure India not only catches up in the global telecom race, but also changes the way Indians use the internet.
India today is ranked around 150th in the internet and the broadband penetration out of 230 countries in the world. My Reliance family, Jio, is conceived to change this. Jio will change this permanently for India.
To test waters before the full commercial launch, which is expected by April 2016, 4G services have been opened up to the company's employees and their families. The launch itself was a star-studded event with a host of Bollywood stars, including brand ambassador Shah Rukh Khan and Oscar winner A.R. Rahman, along with Reliance Industries chairman Mukesh Ambani's entire family in attendance.
What is Jio? And I think that Akash, Isha, Shah Rukh have done a fantastic job, makes my job a lot easier. But for all of us at the Reliance family, I want you to take home 5 things today. First, digital life. Second, connected intelligence. Third, simple, smart and secure. Fourth, Jio together. And fifth, Jio life is beautiful.
Now, the commercial pricing of Jio has not been disclosed yet, but Ambani says the services would be state-of-the-art.
This ecosystem consists of devices, broadband networks, powerful applications and services. Distribution to every doorstep in India, particularly in our small town and villages, both in the hand and at home. This ecosystem comes with a 24/7 support and has been put in place with the support of our partners.
This has analysts speculating that the services on offer would include video streaming that's 4 times faster than other networks, video calling that's 5 times faster, 10 times faster downloads of files that are 30 MB in size, and 6 times faster downloads of 20 MB files. But these are just initial estimates. So while some clarity may emerge soon after the commercial launch, the full picture will be visible only in FY17 when the service has been operational for a full year. In Mumbai with Kritika Saxena, Surabhi Upadhyay. And a standard disclaimer, RIL, the promoter of Reliance Jio, also controls Network 18, which owns CNBC TV 18.
Top bosses of Silicon Valley certainly gung-ho about the Indian startup story. 2 weeks back, Google CEO Sundar Pichai highlighted the startup culture has really taken off. And today, it was Microsoft top boss Satya Nadella's turn to give a thumbs up to India's startup culture. Nadella, who's on a 4-day personal visit to his hometown of Hyderabad, visited the T-Hub. The T-Hub is an incubation facility developed by the Telangana government in public-private partnership to support technology-enabled startups. And in what could be seen as an endorsement of his optimism, Nadella said Microsoft would participate in the development of accelerator programs that are dedicated to support the Indian startup environment. Meanwhile, Nadella also met up with the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu. That meeting lasted for nearly 18 minutes. Post that, we did see an MOU being signed between the state government and Microsoft India for establishing technologically advanced and knowledge-based economy as part of the Azure program for agriculture, education and citizen services.
Now, if 2014 was all about the high-profile appointment of Hyderabad-born Satya Nadella as the CEO of Microsoft, 2015 was all about Chennai boy Sundar Pichai taking over the reins of Google in a move that was fairly unprecedented for the tech giant. Priya Sheth has more.
I did dream of, just like I'm sure like many Indians dreamt of being a cricketer. You know, I used to be a huge... You did? Yeah, I used to. On a more serious note, you know, I always loved technology.
His is a story that dreams are made of. Sundar Pichai, born and raised in a 2-room apartment in Chennai, loved technology, a love that took this boy raised in a middle-class background to A-League universities in the United States, Stanford and Wharton. An outstanding student, Sundar joined Google in 2004 as a product manager. In his 10-year journey, Pichai's growth was a mere reflection of what his colleagues call far-reaching insight, innovative prowess, and again, his love for technology. So after working on flagship Google products, including Chrome, Gmail, Drive, Maps, and Chromebook, over 10 years, in 2014, Sundar was given the charge of leading Google's highest revenue-generating product, Android, catapulting Sundar in the big leagues. So in 2015, when the founders were gearing up for a complete overhaul of Google for the first time in its history, Sundar was the most suitable to take over the reins. The new structure saw co-founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin step out of daily roles at Google, putting Pichai in the driver's seat. A holding company was formed for the first time, named Alphabet, which would diversify the various businesses, and Sundar was made in charge of the core businesses which came under Google. Despite being called the head of a slimmed-down Google, this elevation came as a milestone for the Indian origin CEO. And that is perhaps why Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi ensured that he visited this Indian-born and raised Google top boss to ensure his contribution in the Digital India mission. In December 2015, Pichai made his first visit to India after taking over to inaugurate Google's largest ever campus outside US in Hyderabad. Years where he also announced a partnership with RailTel to make 100 railway stations Wi-Fi ready by December 2016.
Just a few months ago, we announced the largest public Wi-Fi project in the world. We are partnering with RailTel and Indian Railways to bring connectivity to over 400 railway stations across India. This will cover 10 million passengers every day. We are on track to get 100 stations online by the end of the year, by end of 2016.
With India being a key market for Google in India, the company is working on breaking the language barrier and bringing better access to even the remotest parts of the country. In Mumbai, Priya Sheth.
More news from the startup space. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will unveil his government's latest initiative, Startup India. That's going to be on the 16th of January. The government's keen to ensure the startup ecosystem is governed by an institutional mechanism, and the key to the entire initiative will be the definition of what constitutes a startup. Rituparna Bhuyan brings us what's on the anvil.
How do you distinguish between a startup and a run-of-the-mill new venture? This is turning out to be DIPP's biggest challenge as it finalizes the definition of a startup. Sources have told CNBC TV 18 that innovation and tech prowess will be at the core of the definition for startups that DIPP wishes to propose. The industry department is busy in parleys with its counterparts in MSME, Department of Information Technology, DOT, Finance Ministry, as well as the PMO to finalize the contours of Startup India. So will the government do away with the dozens of permissions for startups? On this, there is still no clarity. While DIPP has been battling for exemptions, other departments maintain that it won't be possible to do away with several government permissions. Hence, the focus will be on a balance between exemptions and facilitation for startups. So who will ensure that a new venture is designated as a startup and ensure facilitation and hand-holding? The government has also accepted several recommendations from the startup community. For example, there will be an app and an interactive portal through which startups will be able to stay in touch with the DIPP. All these issues will be discussed threadbare by the startup community, venture capital funds, angel investors on December 16th. PM Modi will be then given a presentation on the action plan for startups post the event. It remains to be seen if Startup India initiative also leads to tax incentives, as the final call on this will have to be taken by the North Bloc. In New Delhi, with Rituparna Bhuyan, Ashmit Kumar.
CNBC TV 18, celebrating 16 years of business leadership.